Chicago, 1992. A jewelry store robbery unlike any other. Broken glass everywhere. Shattered display cases. And handprints, bloody handprints, covering the counters. But here's the impossible part. There wasn't a single drop of blood anywhere. Not on the glass. Not on the floor. Not even in the building itself. Forensic experts couldn't explain it then, and they still can't today. To this day, the case remains unsolved. Tonight, I want to take you back to that cold March morning, into the heart of Chicago, and through every twist of one of the strangest cases in modern crime history. A robbery that should have been straightforward, but instead turned into a puzzle that mocks science, mocks investigation, and mocks logic itself. This is the story of the bloodless crime scene. March 1992. Chicago. The morning was bitterly cold, the kind of cold that gnaws at your fingertips even through gloves. At around 8 a.m., a jewelry store owner arrived at his shop in downtown Chicago. At first glance, nothing seemed wrong. The front door was intact, no shattered glass, no forced lock. But when he stepped inside, the sight stopped him in his tracks. Every jewelry case was smashed. Watches, necklaces, rings, all gone. In total, over $500,000 worth of merchandise had vanished overnight. But theft alone wasn't what chilled him to the bone. The counters were smeared with bloody handprints. Dozens of them, some partial, some full palms. Some streaked across the shards of glass, as if someone had grabbed for balance while bleeding. Others pressed deliberately, like fingerprints stamped into a scene. But when the police arrived, there was no blood trail, no injured people, no sign that anyone had ever bled at all. To investigators, it looked like a violent break-in. But the crime scene didn't add up. Chicago PD sealed off the shop. Forensics combed the floor, bagged shards of glass, and dusted counters. But the more they looked, the stranger it got. The alarm system? Not tripped. Technicians checked the wiring. Nothing had been cut, nothing bypassed. It was as if the alarm had simply never been armed. But the owner swore he set it every night. Next, surveillance. The store had one camera, an old VHS system aimed at the main floor. But when detectives checked the recorder, the tapes were gone. Not damaged, not destroyed, just missing. The machine itself was empty, the tape removed cleanly. Whoever was inside had taken a time to erase themselves. And then the blood. Forensic testing confirmed it was human. Typo. But every print was distorted. No clean ridges, no matchable fingerprints. And worse, DNA technology in 1992 was still primitive. No profiles could be built. Investigators had human blood, but no human to connect it to. The scene felt like a contradiction. Too much evidence, yet none that pointed anywhere. With the press circling and the public buzzing, detectives built theories. The store owner was the obvious suspect. Insurance fraud, maybe? A staged robbery? But his alibi checked out. He'd been at dinner with friends across town. His insurance policy was outdated. It wouldn't even cover a fraction of the loss. For detectives, the inside job theory crumbled fast. Chicago in the early 90s was crawling with burglary crews professionals who could bypass alarms, cut cameras, and strip a shop in minutes. But pros don't leave bloody handprints. Pros don't make a mess. The scene was too chaotic, too theatrical for a clean job. Some detectives whispered about the handprints. They weren't random. They overlapped in strange, almost deliberate patterns. One investigator said, quote, "It looked like 5 or 6 different people touched the same spot, one after another. But none of them were bleeding. Was this a robbery or a ritual?" And then there was the blood itself. Lab results showed unusual clotting, almost like the blood had been stored beforehand. But where would someone get that much blood? Hospitals? Blood banks? If so, why smeared across jewelry counters? Theories multiplied. None fit neatly. As word spread, Chicago's rumor mill caught fire. Local papers hinted at occult connections. Residents whispered that the thieves weren't just after jewels. They were after fear. That the handprints weren't evidence, but a message. Paranormal investigators jumped in. They tied the case to other so-called blood anomalies reported across Chicago in the 80s and 90s. Stories of walls oozing red liquid. Reports of apartments where blood-like stains appeared without source. Most were dismissed. But now, with this robbery, people started asking, were these cases connected? Others speculated about phantom thieves. Criminals who appeared and disappeared without tripping alarms, without leaving DNA, without being seen. Urban legend fuel. But in 1992 Chicago, people believed it. The handprints should have been the smoking gun. Instead, they led nowhere. No missing persons matched a suspect bleeding out that night. No hospital reports lined up. No one called in with suspicious injuries. The blood was real, but it led nowhere. And the samples, the one hope of solving the case, were kept in police storage until the early 2000s. And then they vanished. Officially, they were misplaced during transfer. Unofficially, some officers believed they were stolen. Maybe to bury the truth. Maybe by the same people who left them there in the first place. The jewelry store never reopened. The owner shut it down, calling the place cursed. Locals avoided the block for years. By 1994, the case went cold. But online, it never died. In the 2000s, forums lit up with theories. Cult ritual. Professional thieves making a point. Or something supernatural, something science still can't explain. Today, cold case detectives look back and shake their heads. They say, if we had DNA, this would be solved. But without it, the case feels like it was designed to be unsolved, to remain a story that lives in whispers and shadows. Online sleuths dig deeper. Some connect it to missing VHS tapes, claiming the footage might still be out there. Others believe it was a rogue medical experiment gone wrong. A few insist the bloody handprints were never human at all. Chicago, 1992. A crime scene dripping with blood, yet not a single drop to explain it. Was it a robbery gone wrong? A hoax gone too far? Or was it a message from something we still don't understand? One thing is certain. The bloodless crime scene remains one of the strangest unsolved mysteries in American history. So, what do you think happened inside that store? Was it staged? Was it supernatural? Or was it a crime far more clever than we can imagine? Let me know your theory in the comments. And if this story chills you, subscribe, like, and share for more mysteries that refuse to be solved.